If your Etsy sales are low, you're probably making these mistakes and you don't even realize. Hi and welcome back. Today I will be going over my top 5 mistakes you could be making on Etsy and how to fix them. The first mistake I see people making is having bad photography. Photos are what will actually sell your product to your customers, and that is all they really have to go off. They can't see the product, they can't feel it, and they can't try it on. So having good product photography is really essential in the online business world. So the first thing you should be doing with your product photography is making sure that you have good lighting. Now, if you're scrolling on Etsy and you see a dimly lit photo, most of the time, unfortunately, you won't click onto that product, and that's simply because of the lighting. Making sure your photo isn't blurry and that it's not too distracting is also quite essential. There are thousands upon thousands of products on Etsy, and you wouldn't want your products to get lost in the sea of them. And especially when you're scrolling on the Etsy app, the photos are quite small, so you really want yours to have the best fighting chance that it can. So before you work on your product titles or even your price, you want to be making sure that your photos are the best they can be and putting your energy into that, because that will sell your product more so than the title or the price. I would suggest, maybe when you're first starting out, to keep it simple. A white background is clean and helps keep the focus on your product. I would suggest also using a prop in your photo. Now, don't go making the prop, say, 2 times bigger than your product, because that is going to stand out more. I would just make it something that is small and just goes really well with your product. It's like hand in hand. So for example, if you're selling baby onesies, you might want to have, say, an ultrasound picture or a baby rattle, or just something in the picture that goes hand in hand. I think a prop really goes a long way in helping your product stand out, and even though it may seem like a small thing, these types of things on Etsy can sometimes be the difference between making a sale or not making a sale. Now, you also want to make your photos be somewhat uniform and have a bit of a theme. That way your photos will stand out from all the other products and you'll start to have a theme and a style. And the great thing is about starting on Etsy is you don't need a DSLR to get started. In today's day and age, with all the technology we have on our phones, sometimes the phone cameras can be just as good as the DSLRs. Now, if you're looking for a bit of help on taking photos with your phone, I'm sure there are some great courses and videos about how to do that and how to make them potentially look as professional as a DSLR. And over time, you'll start to figure out what you like about your photos and what you don't like, and what you might think about changing in the future. As the saying goes, practice really does make perfect. What I personally like to do when I'm doing my photos is I have a white canvas board, and then I put that on my floor. I will put my onesie on top of the canvas. I will grab a prop. So in this case, I use a bouquet of flowers. I'm actually thinking about changing the way I do my photos. I've had them looking the same now for about a year, so I'm getting a little bit tired of them. So I'm thinking about maybe changing it to a different background and a different prop. But I do think that my images still look good, so I really don't need to change it. It's just a personal thing that I just kind of feel like a change. But this is currently how I do my photos. So like I said, a white canvas board, the onesie, I just pop it by a window to get natural light, and then I take my photos. I do use a DSLR. I have the Canon EOS 200D Mark II, which is also what I'm currently filming on. What I would do when I first opened my Etsy shop, or before actually, is I would go on Etsy and I would search similar products to the ones I would be selling. And I scrolled through the listings. I saw what stood out to me, what I liked and what I didn't like. But of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so what you might like and what you might be drawn to could be something completely different to someone else. So another mistake you could be making is not doing enough research and having a bad Etsy SEO. So jumping in without doing any research is one of the biggest mistakes that you could be making. So you want to make sure before you open your store that you're familiar with the Etsy policies and the rules, and you want to be making sure that you've done your keyword research and you know what words are being searched to find your products. This really will give you the best chance in having your shop be a success and having people finding your products, because there's no point having great products if people aren't going to find them. And SEO, if you don't know what that stands for, is search engine optimization. Before you open your store, you'll want to be doing your Etsy research. So looking up photography how-to, searching Etsy SEO and doing your keyword research. One way that you could be doing your keyword research is by going to Etsy, typing in the search bar what you're selling, and seeing what pops down in the drop down menu. This is similar searches to yours and what could potentially be associated with your sale. So if you're selling baby onesies, you might want to type baby onesies into the search and see what pops down. That is also what is trending in that niche and what is currently being searched for. So if baby onesies Mother's Day pop down, for example, then you might want to make some Mother's Day onesies. A whole heap of things could pop down, like Mother's Day, personalized, Father's Day, and things like that. So they are also potential products that you might want to sell in your store, as people are searching them and they are a hot item. So sticking to your Etsy shop policy and the rules is also key. Now, you wouldn't want to start up your store, have perfectly looking photos, great titles and keywords, and then find that you accidentally weren't doing something in Etsy's policy and then your shop gets shut down. So it really is important that you don't do the wrong thing while selling on Etsy. So just make sure that you're familiar with Etsy shop policies and what you should be doing. So Etsy houses so many different people, from full-time sellers, part-time sellers, hobbyists, and much more. So it really is important to know what category you fit into. Will you be doing part-time selling? Are you a hobbyist? So doing a bit of research really is key. So knowing what category you fit into is really important because that helps Etsy to know who you are, what you're selling, where to essentially slot your product. Going over your keywords and seeing what ones are working for you, what ones you're ranking for, and what ones you might need to change is also important, as I find most people do their keyword research and then they just leave it. And the thing with Etsy and any search engine is things can change. So one day you might be ranking for one thing and then in a couple months time you find that you're not on the first or the second page. So going back over your keywords every so often is really important too and is often overlooked. So I hope I just didn't babble on there and that made sense. Now onto my third mistake that you could potentially be making. Not having enough products. So I would say 10 is the minimum that you should aim for when opening your shop. However, more is obviously better. And why is this? Having more products is obviously better because the more products you have, the more chances you have to be found. The more likely that you will be on the first or the second page. Now, I'm not saying, however, that you need thousands of products or to spend every waking hour making the product. But having more products is obviously better. So I would say that if you could start your shop with at least 50 products, then that really will give you the best chance of being found. So I would suggest maybe getting supplies that you already have and making slight variations just so you can get as many products out there as possible. But like I said, I wouldn't stress if you have 10 to 20 products because just having the recommended 10 is better than somebody that opens their shop with 1 or 2 products. But having less products will just potentially make it harder for you to be found. My fourth mistake you could be making is underpricing or overpricing your products. Now, you can actually go wrong doing it both ways. Now, underpricing can be quite bad here. You wouldn't want people to look at your product that you spend all of your time on and that you know is a good product. They think, why is this product so low? Is it maybe not as good quality as the others? This seems too good to be true. So those people might not actually purchase your item just because of the pricing and they think that it's not good quality. But some people might look at that product and think, wow, it's half price. This product is really similar to that product and I'm going to get it at a great bargain, half price. So there definitely are some pros and cons to both. Some people might believe that you get what you pay for. So if a product is, say, 2 times higher than that other product, they might not look at that price and think that it's too expensive and overpriced. They might think this must be a great product and it must be of high quality and buy it. So it really is a double-edged coin. So you don't want to overprice or underprice your products. I would suggest finding a balance. You really want to be landing somewhere in the middle. When coming up with your pricing, you need to be taking into account the Etsy fees, as unfortunately the Etsy fees are quite high and there are quite a few of them, so you won't want to be setting your product price and then finding out that you are losing it all to Etsy fees. So take into account the Etsy fees. So keep an eye out on how to price your Etsy items, as that will be coming in the future for me. The fifth and final mistake I see people doing is neglecting their About Me section. So this, in my opinion, is one of the most important parts about having an Etsy store. You really want the customers to get to know you, your why, and really how you began your journey on Etsy and how you really decided to give it a go and really how you fell in love with making your products. So in your about me, you would want to list a little about you, so some basic information, your passions, and really how you became to be on Etsy. So one of the first things I do when shopping on Etsy is I actually go to the store that I'm thinking of buying from and I look at their about me section, because it's just a great way to get to know somebody and really feel really connected to them. Etsy is really a place where you want to find out about people, want to get to know the people that you're buying from. You really do want that personal experience when shopping on Etsy, because if you didn't, you would go somewhere else, maybe to like one of the department stores or a really big chain store online. So on Etsy, you really do want to feel like you are helping out somebody. So Etsy is a community. It's a community of people just like you or I who had the drive and the motivation to start selling their handmade and unique products. So it really is a community, and the more that you tap into that, the better that you will do on Etsy. And the great thing is about having a great about me is that you can then possibly share that onto your other social media pages. So if you look at my about me, you will see that I have said why I started and the inspiration behind my store. So if you don't know, my store is Gemma Rose Design, and Gemma Rose is my cat. We had her for about 11 years and she was 20 years old when she passed, and she was a big part of my life and she was one of my best friends. So I have said in my about me all about her and how she is the name of my store. And I really think that that helps people to feel connected to me and my story and my shop. So spending a good few hours on your about me and your why is to me a really good investment. So I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.